Hello and welcome to the Car Care channel, and welcome to an important announcement from the shop. Folks, we have a new member of the Car Care team. Welcome, Eros. Eros is the newest member of the Car Care shop team. He is a unique individual. He's very young, very hardworking. I really like Eros. I've known him for a few years. Eros has dealership experience, not as a master technician, but he's worked in dealership, so he's familiar with working on cars. But at the same time, he also has experience with audio and video, so he's going to help me film, work on cars, everything in between. He's kind of the man of many trades. So without further ado, let's do a warm welcome to Eros. Welcome to the Car Care family, Eros.
Thank you, Ahmed. It's great to be here. I'm excited to meet you guys and to see what we can produce together.
Awesome, awesome. Guys, I really like Eros. Very hard-working guy. And with that, let's give you guys a proper tour of the shop again to show you what got updated and how things are now that we've actually started working on cars here. All right, folks, let's start our tour of an actual shop this time. Before, we were just opening and things were new. First thing is, huge shout out to you, the entire family of the Car Care shop, because you guys are amazing. This is actually a donation from a viewer. You know who you are. I don't want to affect your privacy. She does drive a beautiful Sienna. Thank you so much for the cases of water. She was concerned that it was summer and hot, so she brought us some water so we can have some. I really appreciate that. Moving on from that, this is our speaker, because sometimes we want to play some music. It gets a little gloomy in the shop sometimes. This has been the best thing ever. Now, we have a new addition to this. It's running right now, but the new addition is, this is a Mongoose cable. This is TechStream cable, but the coolest thing is, this now has a detachable cable. I remember from the dealership days, this used to be green, and if you damage the end here, that's it. The whole thing is garbage. Now it's a detachable cable, so you can just order the cable, don't have to order the whole thing. These things are pretty expensive. Been working really good, so I just take off my scan tool right here, plug it into the side, and we got TechStream on the go. This is our oil change sticker printer. This is what I use to print stickers. Make sure you guys have stuff when you leave here, so you know when to do the oil change next. A little bit oversized, but with the shortages, this is the only one I could find. Another one that I love. This is the machine. It's been used a lot already. Works really good. The main thing I love about it is how accurate it is. Super accurate with the charge. Most of the machines you're going to find out there, they're old, outdated, never really been calibrated. This thing works really good, and I love it. Haven't really charged our 1234YF yet. You notice these are still in their position because the Freon is still not even charged. Super expensive stuff. I mean, really nervous to charge it, but we have a 16 Tacoma that's coming up that's going to need a charge for a condenser and another line that's leaking. So that's probably going to be the first time we use it. Over here, we have another new addition, which is this giant barrel. So this is a diluter. This takes water, mixes it up with a concentrate, and then we have windshield washer fluid. You have to change this mixture from summer and winter, because in the winter you want more weather protection than the summer. So there are the tips right here. Pretty cool setup. It actually works really well. And then we move on here. And forgot to tell you about the uniform. We have uniforms. Finally, I don't have to destroy every pair of jeans that I have, and Eros has as well. We're still waiting for the pants for Eros, but I like it. Very simple. I don't like the names, so just the Car Care channel logo and baggy pants with pockets on the side. They're really helpful. This is automotive grade stuff, so it doesn't tear and is flame resistant and all that good stuff. Really like this stuff. Really like the company that does the service, and I don't have to get Mrs. Car Care out there very upset from washing oily clothes. She does get upset over that. I don't blame her. This is the in-stock parts department. We still use Toyota oil. I do carry some Mobil one. Don't really like it because it's almost the same price. 0W20 has been really hard to get. I'm just going through it like you would not believe. We actually just stocked this. We have some more. Oil filters, same setup here. We do have some brake pads. And believe it or not, all of these brake pads I did not intend to stock. These are one of you viewers call, I need brakes. Dealership told me I need brakes. Okay, bring it in. It doesn't need brakes. Now, go figure for the dealership. So these brake pads have stayed here. They're common. Some of them for RAV4. I remember one of them was for Prius. Still have a brake cleaner. Finally is able to get one of these kits that cleans the AC. Folks, somebody has asked about this. You do not want to run this kit just because. If you don't have the smell, don't waste your money, because that's not really what this kit is supposed to do. You're only supposed to use it when you have a smell. We have a new addition that I really dislike. Redline gear oil. I love this oil because it's good for the car. I really dislike it for its smell. Horrendous smell. The whole shop smells. Front smells. If you've been in my shop lately, it smells like gear oil, thanks to Mr. Redline over here. We have some brake fluid. After many deliberations, I usually tell you don't buy this because it's expensive, but believe it or not, aftermarket brake fluid now is very expensive, so this is cheaper. So I stock this stuff now because it's better. Over here is our parts in progress, if I would call it that. So this is where parts ordered for cars that are coming in. Over here we have some brake rotors for an LS, knuckles for an LS, and if you're wondering why, there's a ball joint that's part of this knuckle that this LS are actually going to film it. We're doing the whole front suspension, literally everything. Over here we got, this is another LS that we're doing at coolant leak underneath the intake manifold. Actually, we're not sure what it is. We got some CV boots, some valve covers for a V8, some spark plugs for a Camry. This is another set of brakes and rotors for a Land Cruiser. This is the ASIN kit. I love these. They're OEM kits, folks. All the stuff inside of them are OEM parts. Just be careful when you buy these ASIN kits for the timing belts. There are counterfeits. So be careful with those. And there's our battery tester over there. There's odds and ends. And if you read the Acura, yes, this is for a friend that drives a Honda. We will convert them to the good side one day, but we're doing some fluids, just transmission fluid and whatnot. Simple stuff. Then we move to the cabinet. And disclaimer, this cabinet is a little messy, very messy. And that's my fault, not Eros' fault, because he doesn't really go in here a lot. Yes, it's a little messy. Do apologize, but you know, we wanted to show you. Some brake clean here, some fluids. We got some silicone spray, lithium grease, some PV blaster, electrical cleaner. This is where I keep some of my parts. So you got some washers, drain plug gaskets, crush washers, some fuses. These are steering bolts, like for the steering shaft. I have a bunch of them. Some odds and ends clips, axle nuts. If you've seen my videos, I always end up destroying these, so we have some in stock. There's odds and ends here, again, bolts and nuts and some lug nuts, some extra fluids here and there. And then there's more general supplies. It's a little messy. We'll clean it up one day and we'll show you one thing by one, because I'm embarrassed to keep this open longer. Moving on, we have our transmission fill system. I love this thing. Unfortunately, it's not very DIY because you need an air source and a very good one. This is what I use to fill up the transmissions. Works very good. Put the fluid, it stays clean. That's the biggest thing. It is sealed tight, where the fluid stays clean inside. It's not open to the atmosphere. And we regularly clean it on the inside. That's why it has that yellowish look to it. And then there is a new addition. I've actually used this in the video that's coming up. This is a gift from a dear friend who is also a master diagnostic technician, recently retired from the dealership. I've worked with him for years, really have big respect for him, very knowledgeable guy. He retired, he brought me his car here, his wife's car I think, for some suspension work, and he brought me some gifts. Brought me this, brought me the one of the carts over there, I'll show you in a bit. So I really appreciate it. Rick, if you're watching this video, thank you so much, dude, I really appreciate it. Then the toolbox, we're going to do a proper tour here soon. Now that we have Eros and we can film whenever we want, I'm going to do a full tour so you guys can see everything, because I have all my tools here now, not like before where I had some of my home tools here. Moving forward to the mess area. Sorry guys, this is, we've been working, trying to keep up with everything. This is the mess, and I apologize for the mess because I'm still dealing with the uniform company with rags and whatnot, and we don't really have a place to put them, and there's a little bit of an oily mess here because I want to find a place to put the funnels once you use them so they can drip and dry. Haven't done that yet. There is a lot going on. This is the newest addition. I love this thing. This is a bench grinder. It works really well. I put a wire brush on one side and the stone on the other side. What I love about it is so smooth. Doesn't vibrate and shake and all that mess when it's running. Very well balanced. I really like this thing, and I like the stand. This was off of Amazon. It's a bit too big. I wish it was a 6-inch. I went a little overboard, but it works. I really like it. Then there is the battery charger, which, believe it or not, I have not used it at all. I've used it once. It was Mrs. Carnut's car that the battery was dying, and I just needed to get it charged until we got the battery, because believe it or not, I was on back order. Then we move on here. A little messy. We're kind of in between a job here with a Lexus, which we're going to get to in a bit. Some of the bits of that Lexus are still here. These two oil drains, they work really well. I love them. Occasional leaky here and there from the side, like for the level thing, but you just gotta sit the hose as well, and they're fine. I love it. Works really well. They are due for a little cleanup here, but they're doing really well. One thing I skipped over was my friend Rick's cart that he gifted me. So that was my cart. This is the new cart. These carts are really helpful when you're working. You just roll it to the car and you got a place to put tools, put stuff on the quick without having to, you know, just keep walking back and forth for a bench. Moving forward, we have one more new addition. Not exactly new. This is a gift from one of my friends that I used to work with at the dealership. This is a Harbor Freight Sandblaster, but bear with me here. It's perfectly working fine, but the kit that comes with it is horrible. The stuff that actually sprays. So I got this from Eastwood. It's like a foot-operated nozzle. It works really good. This very inexpensive Sandblaster, all it needs is a better nozzle, and it works great. Works great. Really good for brake jobs. You know, when you clean the rust off, doesn't make a mess. You connect the vacuum right here, and life is great. Really like this addition. This was something I was looking into. Then we move on to the press, which is, I haven't used it yet, can't use it yet because I haven't even added the hydraulic fluid to it yet. We haven't had the need, and just been busy with the shop and everything. So there is that. This is actually, again, from the Lexus. We're still just pulled it off to the side so we can do this video. Then there's the brake lathe, which I haven't really used in a customer car yet. I've used it once, so I'm just trying it out. And haven't done much with it. We just haven't had a lot of brake jobs here. Most of them needed rotors, and placed them and we're done. Then we have the newest addition, one that I love. This is probably the fanciest strut compressor I have ever seen. Maybe you have seen better. This is anything you see made by a company called OTC. Is good stuff, folks. OTC makes some of the best tools out there. Equally very expensive tools, that has to be said. This is a heavy-duty strut compressor. It has wheels where it wheels up to the car. You don't have to carry those struts. But the coolest thing about it is it clamps the spring down. So the spring is here. This holds it, so there's no way this would pop off. Really, really cool. I love this thing. And equally, we haven't used it yet. We will eventually. But it's just one of those things where you buy something very expensive, you're very excited to use it, then you never get to use it, initially at least. But this works really good, folks. Over here, we have the dispenser for the differential fluid, which I really dislike because it's stinky. I mean, you notice that I wrapped it, tried to keep some of the smell. Still, there's smell everywhere. It stinks like gear fluid here. We have some screw jacks over here from Ranger. These are really helpful when you have a lift. Really useless when you are doing things on the floor. But this is basically like a jack stand or a floor jack for cars on the lift. We still have our used oil filters here, used coolant here. This is the big old tank for used oil. This is where the company is going to come back and pick it up when it gets filled. And over here we have our hoist. Haven't been used yet. I love this hoist. It's from Ranger, pretty stable. It's a foldable one, so it wouldn't take a lot of space. We are going to actually use this in a few weeks, and I'll show you what we're going to use it for in a bit. But equally, we're also going to use is this engine stand. Yes, folks, this is a Harbor Freight engine stand. Believe it or not, I've had V8 on this engine stand. It's a little bent, it's a little beat up. The reason I bought it from Harbor Freight is when we were doing the campaign for the 2.4 liter, the 2AZ, or re-ringing these at the dealership, there were so many guys doing these at the same time, the shop just ran out of engine stands. So I ran out one day because I needed to get mine out of the car, bought one from Harbor Freight, just said, if this gets me by for a few weeks, we're good. And it's a few weeks into many, many years of hard work on this guy, and it still works, and I kept it. Now, you know what? Let's use it. We're going to use it in a few weeks. This is the exhaust extractor. Works really good. I'm actually thinking of buying another one here soon, because sometimes we have two cars, we run them at the same time. This works really good, folks. Moving over here, this is a Lexus LS430. We're doing a lot of work to this. This was actually a viewer's car, just bought it. This is a gem. I have a video on this, not gonna spoil it too much. That's my car. It's been sitting here for a while because I've been driving a few cars that we're doing reviews on, so here she sits. Try to wash it every week. Just keep it nice and safe and sound here in the shop, not in my driveway collecting dust. So we also use it to run, to get parts and whatnot. Eros been using it actually more than me lately, just to run around and do errands for the shop and the channel. But yeah, she sits right here. Now, let's go to the dark corner of the shop. I don't know why I like to call it that. It gives like a different impression, but it's just a corner that has no lights. That's what we mean by that. So over here, excuse the garbage cans. That was not the intent. We're going to move those a little bit to the side, because what I want to show you is over here. Folks, we cannot say this enough. Please change your oil every 5,000 miles or you meet these two. This is a short block and an overhaul kit, gasket kit for a 2AR FE out of a 17, 16 Camry, something like that. 10,000 mile oil changes, burns oil, putting a short block, scoring on the cylinder wall. I've seen this many, many, many times, more times than I like to admit. Please change your oil every 5,000 miles. Otherwise, this is in the horizon. This is a condenser for the 16 Tacoma that we are waiting for a line that's on back order. That's the new thing with back order. I do have some oil. I learned this the hard way. I ran out of oil actually one day, and I had a customer bring a car. It's like, what are we gonna do now? By the time I ordered Mobile One, got the Mobile One, finally got the original oil. So now I stock extras because we just live in a world that things are unpredictable. Let's talk about this one. And then we have the Trooper. This thing works so well, but there is a small problem that we have with the shop, which let's talk about it briefly and you'll know. This thing works really well, I love it, but we have a problem with the floor. The floor is clean right now. Not squeaky clean, not car care not clean, because we're filming this in between two appointments here. But if you notice on the floor, there is a spot that is clean right here, and then this gets dirty. No, we are not disgusting. We try to keep the floor very clean. This is actually clean, believe it or not. But there was a problem with the epoxy application, and these stains actually embedded into the epoxy, and they won't come off. This is not, and there's spots. If you notice, there's a spot here, then there is a spot over here. And then there's like spots all across the shop. Some of it is clean, some of it is not. We look here. This is the new concrete. That's good. Now this needs a little bit of cleaning, but if you look here, there is a definite line here. And that's the problem we're dealing with. So the contractors, they are professionals, they're good people. They came out, they tried to clean it, they tried to do a few things, didn't work. They got to a point where like, you know what, we stand behind our work, we're gonna warranty this for you. The only problem is we have to shut down for a week. So coming up in August, we're gonna pack it up, everything is going in storage, and they're gonna come back, grind all the floor again, reapply the epoxy, wait for it to dry, then bring all the stuff back from storage. Really not looking forward for that because I built this shop almost all on my back alone. There was a friend that came and helped me. A huge shout out to Jeremy, by the way. I'm just the kind of person I don't like to ask for help unless I really need it. I wish Eros was on the team back then, but at the same time, probably Eros wishes he was not because this was a lot of work to put all this stuff together, but it's all going back out. So that has given me a little bit of an anxiety, but we're gonna be okay. We got this far. The only thing that's staying is the lifts, which I love these lifts. I was so nervous about them and the concrete and having issues and all this stuff. Nothing was an issue, everything worked great. I love these lifts. They work really well, they're asymmetrical. You lift a Land Cruiser here, you're gonna be a little nervous, but it's all about how you secure the car to the lift. I love this lift, it works really good. I'm very happy with everything in the shop, but the floor. But good news is, the cup is always half full, not half empty. This can be fixed, we have good health, things are going well. Guys, thank you so much for watching my channel. Thank you for joining me in this journey of the shop. Thank you to those viewers who came in and we got to know them personally, that trusted me with their cars. I really appreciate it. Folks, I hope this little tour was helpful, was informative. You learned something new, perhaps something here or there of how the daily operation of a shop is. And once more, huge welcome to Eros. Leave him a comment. He will be reading the comments. You'll start seeing Eros more and more in videos here and there. And until the next video, folks, may the Lord bless you and keep you. And you have yourself a wonderful day.